All right, a little cool today in the wake of yesterday's storm system. As usually happens behind a storm, a bit of a northeasterly breeze, mainly impacting the northern half of the state with the cold air out of the north. 44 on Hopi today, 47 in Winslow, 36 in Flagstaff, 52 Sedona. You get south of the rim, the northerly breeze really doesn't impact those areas as much as it drops off the rim. It actually heats up by compression. 53 in Prescott today and 56 degrees in Payson. 36 whole 11 degrees below average for this time of year here in Flagstaff. A very cold early morning at 4 degrees. Not quite on a record type cold. -10 was the record set back in 1997. It was also 4 degrees up at the Grand Canyon. Plenty of single digits across northern Arizona high elevations today. All right, let me go back really quick if I can. Backwards. One more. Okay, so what I wanted to say is here in Flagstaff, the recent precipitation since January 1 bringing us up to 6.89 inches since the beginning of the year, and that is healthy moisture here, as average here for the first 2 months would be at 4.29 inches. Of course, for the first day of March, the season here where just a few weeks left of winter spring break or spring fever starts setting in a little bit. All right, so here in Flagstaff our 16 inches of snow melted down in the bucket to 1.61 inches of moisture. So we take a look at some of the storm precipitation totals out there. This is rain and also melted snow. So a rain gauge just northeast of Sedona, 3.5 inches of rain. Just southeast of Munns Park, 3.25 inches of precipitation. It was most likely all snow down there. Munns Park had 1.5 feet of snow. Mormon Mountain with snow and 3.20 inches of moisture. And we go right on down the line, and very impressive. Prescott, rain gauge just outside of town at 1.94 inches. Payson over 2 inches. Page, what happened in Page? Only 0.08 inches of precipitation. That's kind of surprising when everybody else is way up here. Up at Kykotsmovie Village, up on Hopi, just under an inch at 8,300. So we're going to have a great spring here across the deserts, and it's just been a huge winter with the water across the entire west, which is great for the reservoirs. It's going to be big water running on the rivers, and the reservoirs are going to be filling up in Lake Powell, Lake Mead, here in Flagstaff. It's going to be good water out on Lake Mary. All right, earlier we just took a look at the visible satellite image. A perfect day to do it when it's clear skies. This is a satellite just taking a picture of Earth and what the Earth is reflecting. If we did this in a little bit when it's dark, we would see nothing. So we're seeing what the Earth is reflecting. Obviously, we're reflecting the snow. You can see the snow. And a couple other things to notice when you're looking at a visible satellite image. Notice the lighter colors out here and then the darker colors in here. The darker areas, that's the forest, not reflecting much of the sunlight back. These are the more desert locations, a little bit lighter. So if we compare that to an infrared satellite, which is often used to see the clouds because it measures the heat coming off the Earth. And on a cloudless day, we're not seeing any clouds. So now what do we see? The white areas are the colder areas. And you notice from the Grand Canyon along the Mogollon Rim, the white areas, look how well the Colorado River sticks out because it's a lot warmer down there. Also warmer, obviously, out here in the Little Colorado River Valley. All right, your little satellite lesson from GOES 10 West out there. Now we switch it over to the infrared satellite across the whole country. Now what we're measuring is the heat, and we also have the enhanced radar on top of it. But all these clouds that you're seeing these are higher clouds and usually associated with some storms because the storms build and there's some higher clouds out there. So the infrared really picks that up well. The storm track, in the meantime, way to the north of us here in the west, high pressure is building in, and that's going to mean a warming trend here for us over the coming days. As the storm track way to the north drops down into the Great Lakes, and we're starting to see some strong thunderstorms build. This is a very spring-like pattern where the cold air starts dropping in and mixing with the warm Gulf of Mexico air, and that's where you start to see these strong thunderstorms. Yesterday, there's 22 tornadoes along this same line of thunderstorms. Today, a couple of tornadoes up here towards the Tennessee River Valley. A little bit of snow in the upper Great Lakes. And a tweet from the National Weather Service in Chicago yesterday or the day before, very interesting. The very first time in 146 years of record keeping in Chicago that there's been no snow on the ground for the months of January or February. It's been a very mild winter across the Midwest, and this storm looks like it's almost bringing snow to Chicago. No report whether they got any on the ground out there today, but very quiet out here in the west. And as I mentioned, we're going to go into a warming trend here for the next several days. Okay, a current look outside from the webcam. Downtown 34 degrees, looking up towards the beautiful San Francisco peaks, clear skies, and the wind still out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, another cold night in store, and it's just a tricky forecast because there's still a little bit of a northeasterly breeze, and most of the models are indicating temperatures dropping down in the teens, but that's what they said yesterday. And with the snowpack on the ground, we dropped down to 4 degrees. So tonight I'll just be in between a little bit and go with 10. And one thing for certain, we are in for a cold and clear overnight. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer, still a little bit of a northeasterly breeze, keeping the cool air reinforced here for us. And by the time we get into later in the week, we get away from the northerly breeze, and temperatures will be able to further warm up as we get into the end of the work week and into the weekend. The thing is, we get into the weekend and that northerly storm track's going to slide a cold front through, and we'll talk about that in a second. 59 for Sedona tomorrow, 60 degrees in Prescott, 61 in Payson, and 58 in Winslow. Okay, temperatures continue to climb as we get into Friday. We're into the mid-50s, and we continue with that into a breezy Saturday, but a cold front starts to approach on Sunday, and I think we're very windy on Sunday and Sunday overnight into early Monday. We could see some very light snowfall. The front barely brushes northern Arizona, but notice on Monday behind the front, we cool things off behind the storm system. But it's not a big snowstorm, so don't get too frightened, ladies.